Hello, Planeswalkers! Andrew here, joined by Tyler. Today we're bringing you another Commander Countdown. On this episode, we're going to go over our top 5 favorite creature types. Now, these are our personal favorites, so be sure to let us know your favorites in the comments below. To kick things off, Tyler has some honorable mentions before we get into the list.
For my first honorable mention, I'd like to mention the Kavu. A race of weird lizard dingoes found on a handful of planes. They offer a really cool and unique design space that I think could be explored more. And while not technically a creature type, my second honorable mention goes to the Baloths. Baloths are currently all classified as beasts, but I feel like they should be their own type. As a species of these large, horned monsters that are aesthetically similar to each other, it just doesn't feel right that they got lumped in with generic beasts.
My fifth favorite creature type would have to be Hydras, a type that encapsulates the myth of Hydras with its mechanics. Most Hydras in Magic either have an X cost and enter with X+1/+1 counters on them, or they have another way of entering with +1/+1 counters. This represents how Hydras in Myth have multiple heads. The Theros Beyond Death card, Hydra's Growth, even has the enchanted creature get larger each turn. I like them because they're a perfect example of a flavorful creature type.
And while Andrew's over there with all of his necky boys, taking my number 5 spot is, well, the Brushwagg. At time of writing, only 2 currently exist. The original Brushwagg from Mirage, and the almighty Brushwagg from Ikoria. We know next to nothing about these creatures other than they have very basic mammalian features, appearing to live in a ball of thorny vines, or they are a ball of thorny vines, jury's still kind of out on that one, and that they shouldn't be trifled with. The flavor text on both cards hints that they are secretly ferocious and dangerous creatures, despite their small size. And I mean, look at them. Almighty Brushwagg has the eyes of someone who gazed upon a god and wasn't impressed. In a world of demons and dragons and wizards, all casting powerful, arcane, magical spells learned from ancient times written by long-dead sorcerers and kings, my fourth favorite creature type is Squirrels! Though small in stature, the humble squirrel is more than capable of going toe-to-toe with even the most formidable of opponents. I hear 15 or so flying squirrels can take on an Eldrazi Titan. Generally appearing as 1/1s and silver-bordered cards, squirrels have picked up a decent handful of black-bordered cards as well, and with the printing of A. Cornelia, they do finally have their own, albeit technically illegal, tribal commander.
For my number 4 pick, I chose Knights. Chivalrous and skillful, Knights are cut above soldiers and warriors in Magic, pun intended. There's a wide variety of Knights as well, from cats to vampires to even birds and zombies. They all have one thing in common though, they're armored up and ready to slay something, probably the opposing player. I really like cards that have good flavor, cards that really embody what they represent through their mechanics, and that's why my number 3 pick is Werewolves. Werewolves classically transform into terrible monsters under the full moon, often losing their humanity in the process. Magic's werewolves are much the same, appearing to be regular humans on one side before flipping into complete monsters on the other. Get too comfortable with the 2/2 human, and you're in for a rude awakening when he flips into a 3/3 werewolf with Intimidate.
Alright, fun time's over. Let's get serious. Andrew brought us to Innistrad with the werewolves, so shambling into number 3 on my list are zombies. When I first learned how to play Magic, black was the color that spoke to me the loudest. And with zombies being the characteristic creature type for black, the bulk of my forces were rotting husks of meat who crave the flesh of the living. Zombies are just so much fun to play for me, and I'm always on the lookout for interesting new deadmen to add to my ranks. The fact that they're also incredibly tribally synergistic is also just a huge point in their favor. Surprising no one that knows me, and probably also no one that doesn't know me, dragons take the second spot on my list. Please stay out of my search history. I've loved reptiles ever since I was a wee lad, and the idea of these giant lizards that could fly and breathe fire just lit a spark deep inside my heart. I'm not kidding, stay off of my search history. I've always had a wild imagination, I'm not kidding. So stories about dragons, or art depicting valiant dragons roasting evil knights alive or trying to steal their princess girlfriends, has cemented itself in my mind as what an epic battlefield the world of myth and magic can be. What? Did I take the wrong message from those stories?
Speaking of giant lizards and ignoring the comments about search histories, we move on to my second pick. I tend to play wide strategies in Magic, but I can't deny the utter joy it can be to play big stompy creatures, and to that end, dinosaurs have no equal. They're huge, they get angry, and they wreck face. It's fun unleashing Jurassic Park on your enemies, dropping big carnivores to demolish their forces. I just think they're neat. My number one favorite creature type has to be elementals, due to their versatility and overall aesthetic. I run an elemental deck in Commander, Brawl, and Standard, so it's safe to say it's my most common way to play. I love how these creatures are just living elements, as the name implies. As it turns out, sentient fireballs and plant monsters are really fun to use, especially since many of them are in blue and green and can generate tons of value, which you know I like.
Finally, taking the coveted gold medal at number 1 on my list is dinosaurs. I understand that this might seem like a step down from dragons, and like I'm copying Andrew, but honestly, I've loved dinosaurs since before I could even remember. I even almost went to school for paleontology, but that's a story for another time. I think the reason that dinosaurs win out over dragons for me is that, well, dinosaurs were real. They actually walked the earth and left behind their bones for us to find. When Ixalan was announced and it was stated that dinosaurs would be a primary focus for the block, I was ecstatic. Come to think of it, that's also around the time I started really playing Magic seriously again. I wonder if the two are related. My Gishat EDH deck says yes, they are in fact related.
And there you have each of our top 5 favorite creature types. Once again, be sure to let us know what your favorite creature types are in the comments below. As we collectively get through these tough times in quarantine, we here at Partners With hope you all are staying safe and healthy. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to see more from us in the future, please leave a like and think about throwing a sub our way. Later!